from the Gray Eagle in Asheville, the Pearl of Carolina. It's the Travis Book Happy Hour. With special guest Aaron Burdett and the Happy Hour House Band featuring Tommy Maher and Daniel Ullom. And now, your host, Travis Book.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for showing up tonight. Thank you to the Gray Eagle. We were just here last week. Do you remember that, Bill? Do you remember that?
I was here.
You were here, Bill. How was your week?
It's about 6 or 7 days.
Give or take?
Give or take.
Did you ride your bike today, Bill?
I did.
That's something we have in common. How did it go?
It was good. It's dusty. It's dry here.
It is. It's dry and dusty. It's almost like being out west.
Almost.
It's very strange. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. We got a great show tonight. I'm going to start off playing a song that I love to play. Tell me, can we live together without pain? Burdens at our doorstep, burdens in our heart. It's time to let them travel, lay them down. From the tallest mountain down in the lowest valley, we're all asking, want to know why we're climbing. Tell me why we're falling. Tell me where we're going. Want to know, right? Sunrise, rise, sun, rise, sun. There's a new day coming and it's not promised, it's all we know. Can we quantify it? Can we try and name it? Try to fight it while we hold it close, right? Sunrise, rise, sun, rise, sun, Thank you. That's my man, Tommy Maher, there on the dobro. Proud Happy Hour house band member, Tommy. Thanks for coming tonight, Tommy. You know, tonight we reach a milestone for the Travis Book Happy Hour. This is the 20th episode of this show. That's why I wore the gold threads. Felt like a special night deserved a special shirt. And it feels good to put on some threads because, you know, I haven't put on any sparkle threads for a very long time. I usually reserve those for special occasions, and there have been some special occasions, but nothing that really felt like it deserved the gold or the silver party shirt. But tonight's the night, and I'm kind of blown away, actually. I was talking with John, who does the video here, and we were kind of like, yeah, man, can you believe it was like a year ago we started doing these. And here we are, 20 episodes later, 20 unique guests, 26 different musicians, which isn't actually that many. It leads me, I don't know if it's a good thing or not. I like to have my friends play with me. You know, I've had Tommy on probably 5 episodes, Mike Ashworth, Lindsay Pruitt has been on a few episodes, and of course, John Stickley. So we're launching podcast on July 2nd. First 10 episodes will come out on July 2nd. We're releasing the Happy Hour compilation, Volume 1, which is going to be highlighted tracks from the first 8 episodes. That'll come out in August. I have 4 more episodes planned in this format, 2 in July and 2 in August, but then after that, it becomes a little bit of a question mark. It's a little bit of a sort of a soul-searching opportunity, like what's the point and what's the goal, and I'm not entirely sure yet, but I think I am probably going to aim big and things will change a little bit. I do want to thank you all, though, for being part of this ride and for tuning in. Thank you all for coming and being part of the audience here tonight. And those of you at home, I know some of you have watched every single episode. I know some of you are in it, and I really appreciate it. So, yeah, man, life is short, Tommy, but we've got a good life we're living here, don't you think?
It's a good segue, Travis.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Mike, keep up. Sorry.
Yes, I've had the great pleasure of playing a lot of these with Travis, and love this guy, and I love the Great Eagle, so much love.
You love the taqueria too, baby.
I sure do. Well, I'm going to do a song about life being too short. This is a Hot Rise song. They're a bluegrass band. So here we go.
Do it up, buddy. 1, 2, 3.
Short to borrow sorrow, life's too short for me to worry over you. You are gone and you are missing other lips you've been kissing. Life's too short for me to worry over you. And I'm leaving, and I'm grieving, and I'm grieving, and I'm grieving, and I'm grieving, 'cause I'm blue. Here today and gone tomorrow. Life's too short to borrow sorrow. Life's too short for me to worry over you. In this time we must sever. Gonna find another heart so good and true, that was made for using, not for all your abusing. Life's too short for me to worry over you. And I'm leaving, and I'm grieving, and I'm grieving, and I'm grieving, because I'm blue. Here today and gone tomorrow. Life's too short to borrow sorrow. Life's too short for me to worry over you. So hazy, can't realize why you are so untrue. Well, I know that you don't love me by all the stars above me. Life's too short for me to worry over you. And I'm leaving, and I'm leaving, sorrow. Life's too short for me to worry over you. Well, I said, life's too short for me to worry over you.
That's Tommy Maher.
Thank you.
We're going to take a very, very short break. This show is not possible without lots and lots of help and lots of support, both from our viewers and listeners at home, and also from some great, great sponsors. So we'll take a short break. We'll be back in just a moment with Aaron Burdett.
And I would like to go on record saying one of the definitions of short is expeditious. Used in a sentence, Tommy, you made short work of that dobro solo. The Travis Book Happy Hour is brought to you by Americana Vibes, presenting the new album Common Ground by the Sweet Lilies and the infamous String Dusters' upcoming release, a tribute to Bill Monroe, out this Friday, May 28th. We also received support from Area 22 Guitars in beautiful Brevard, North Carolina. Area 22 carries the finest in American-made acoustic and electric instruments and boutique tube amplifiers. Visit in person in the Brevard Lumberyard District or online at area22guitars.com. Media sponsorship is provided by WNCW. Listen at 88.7 FM or stream at WNCW.org. And if you're enjoying the happy hour, tip the band and crew anytime at paypal.me/TravisBook1 or Venmo at TravisBook. And once again, your host said Travis Book.
Thank you, Bill. So I've been living in this area for a while. I've been hearing about this guy, Aaron Burdett, since I moved here. His name kept popping up, and when I started the show, several people told me, they're like, you gotta get Aaron on your show. And our schedules finally aligned, and it worked out to have him join us here on the happy hour. And we played together last night, preparing for this show, and I gotta say, I was just totally blown away by his singing and his songwriting and his sense of humor, and I'm so grateful to have him here to join me on the happy hour. Please make welcome Mr. Aaron Burdett.
Welcome, sir. Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you? Feeling pretty good.
Yeah. Feeling all right?
Feeling pretty good, all things considered. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear it, man. So, you live nearby.
Yes.
Were you raised in Saluda?
Yes, we moved there when I was 4. So, to the locals, I'm still an interloper.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah, I think your grandfather has to have lived there.
Yeah, exactly. And be buried there.
Well, I don't know about that part.
Or still be alive. When you were growing up, was there music around the house?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's yeah. My father was and is still a huge music fan, and that was that's where I discovered the magic of it. Was his album, his record collection. Yeah, we lived pretty far back in the woods, and there was always music, and they would have parties with their friends, and yeah, Dad was just really passionate about it in his own sort of understated way. He would. I remember the the Columbia Music House records where you would he'd do those deals, and we always got Rolling Stone magazine, the big one, and he would always take a lot of care in selecting whichever the ones he was going to order next. So yes, there was a lot of music in the house.
That's awesome. I mean, I remember that too. Like when we went to go get a bunch of CDs for $10, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And now you can just get all your music for free.
Right.
But we don't need to go into that. Did you grow up? Are you a churchgoer? Did you grow up going to church?
Yeah, we went to church. Mom and Dad still do. I don't go anymore, but yeah, we went to Presbyterian church growing up.
Was there singing in the church?
There was.
Yeah. And were you singing when you were growing up?
I started singing pretty early, and I remember when I was 8 or 10. I just remember that's the first times I remember singing solo in any situations. One was at the school. I must have been in 2nd or 3rd grade in a little play or something, and then I remember singing at church, singing "Morning Is Broken" when I was 8 or 10 or something.
That's awesome, man.
Little boy tenor or something, boy soprano.
When did you really get? When did music really get its claws in you?
Pretty soon after that, really. I mean, it's been an ongoing, long process. You know, I mean, I guess I learned I had a little aptitude for it, and then I had some force-fed piano lessons for a while.
Oh yeah.
And then I started playing guitar when I was in my early teens, and it's been a long progression of taking it more and more seriously, or realizing, oh well, I could do that. Well, that next thing, oh well, maybe I could do that too. But here I am, 30-something years later, and I'm unable to stop.
Well, that's all to our benefit. You seem like you're not like an accidental songwriter. Like it's a craft to you. You're working on. Your ears are open all the time, right? And you're you're open to the inspiration pretty much all the time.
Yes, 100%.
And when did you start functioning that way? Was it after you'd written a few songs and you were kind of like, oh, I bet these would be better if I, was in it more often? Or what got you going on really writing all the time as part of your making the habit of the writing?
I don't know. I really don't. I really don't know. Depending how far down on this psychiatrist's couch we're going to lay.
As far as you want, man.
I think in my day-to-day life, I'm not a real expressive person. And I think songwriting and music itself, that was an escape for me when I was 12 or 13. And gosh, through all my teens and 20s, and any time I'm having a hard time, maybe today or tomorrow, it's a spot for me to go and hide and recharge. I forgot what the question was.
So did I. I was enjoying the answer.
Oh, it was about songs and figuring out where they, when you're staying open to it. I don't know, I just learned if you want to write songs, there's one little spark, one little speck that comes, that it's like a dream. It's just like a dream that you say, oh no, I'll remember that in the morning. And if you don't write it down, you don't. And if you wrote that down, you at least have the germ, which is like 10% of the thing. But if you don't write that down, then you've got nothing to work from.
That's so good. You're totally right. It's like you're not going to remember it.
No.
Although I have heard there's I wouldn't know who to reference. I don't know who it was, but I did hear someone say, "Well, I figured if it wasn't good enough for me to remember, it wasn't good enough." But that's not how my memory works.
That's somebody with a better memory than I have.
That's someone who's probably written a hell of a lot more hit songs than either one of us too.
And has more ideas, a surplus.
Right, like just pouring out of him. I think it was one of those, old, Nashville songwriters from like, the 50s or something. Why do you write songs? Why songwriting?
I don't know. It's just a thing that I just slowly figured out how to have a little bit of aptitude for it, and I think I've learned fairly recently that it's like a personal processing. it's like my own little processing of a thing or an idea or a concept or some feeling I'm having. Like they're asking, we got this album coming out soon, and they're asking, what are all these songs about? And I'm like, I don't know, stuff that was going on 3 years ago. And
Right.
when I look back, I can see it, but I don't know it while I'm writing it. But I can look back and say, oh, thematically, oh yeah, that's right. That's when we were going through that. Or I don't know. It's a thing I need to do. It's a thing I need to do because there's some piece of me broken somewhere, and that's what, props it up. I don't know.
Or fills it in.
Or fills it in.
It's like the concrete in the crack.
That's right.
Yeah, I find sometimes I need to I need to articulate an idea before I can really understand it. I kind of have to spit it out. And unfortunately, it makes it hard to be in a relationship with me because I work things out externally. It requires a really understanding bandmate or roommate or spouse or whatever. But that makes sense to me. That you're kind of, it's like something's in there and you got to kind of. It's like sand and like making a pearl around sand. It's like there's a little bit of sand in there. Some idea, some little thing you got to work out, and so you got to work it out. You form it into a little pearl, and then you get to you don't have to carry around that grain of sand anymore.
See, and I'm the exact opposite. Like I am a total internal processor. Like I don't, and that's why I think I don't say things that are going on until I've thought about them a long, long time. And I guess that's kind of how the songs happen too. I think about them for a long, long time, and eventually, when I feel like it's well enough formed for me to defend it, then I'll put it out.
That's a great way of putting that. I've heard that before too.
Have you?
Yeah. How do you know a song's any good, or a recording? Did you feel like you could defend it?
I can back it up.
I read Bono said that in a Rolling Stone interview. It's funny you talking about making songs. You're a contractor. You build things. You're incredibly useful.
Thank you, Travis.
Do you feel like that? Do you feel like that your songwriting process is like, do those things? How's that Venn diagram work? Are you? I mean, what I'm hearing is a little bit of that in sort of the way you put songs together. You work at them.
Yes, one piece after the next piece, very slow and methodical, but you also have to stay open to the unexpected, and you have to be able to. It's at the same time an extremely practical and technical thing, but also an artistic, spiritual, an essence of a thing that you just kind of have to cultivate. They do sort of match up sometimes. Not always.
Hey man, just a couple more questions and I'll let you play a little bit, and then I have more questions.
Okay, that sounds good.
Doing my interview in 2 segments these days, trying something new. What is your what? This may be wading into a little sticky area, but like, what is your musical trajectory? Kind of like, do you have any goals? What do you? Another way of putting it is like, what are you trying to do here?
Well,
don't take that the wrong way. Just like when you go to make your music, what are you doing?
There was a woman named Tui St. George Tucker who was a microtonal composer from up in Blowing Rock, North Carolina. And my brother and I rented a shack from her for a while. And I remember her saying, she wrote in quarter tones. This is a John Cage acolyte. And she said, Aaron, I've never had any commercial success with my music. But I'm okay with that because I followed up every little lead. And I've always remembered that because I also sort of live my life as best I can from what's the next right thing? There's 150 things here that are totally overwhelming me, but there's one thing that's sticking out more than the rest. And I don't know, I'm just keep showing up until I feel like the next right thing is to not show up anymore. And that just hasn't happened yet. I don't know. People keep coming out and saying nice things about me, and I keep coming back for more of that.
It's addictive, isn't it?
It really helps.
Man, I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate your honesty. Let's get a little music out of you before we get too much further into talking. You down with that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have that's Aaron Burdett, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have Aaron play a tune by himself, and then Daniel and Tommy and I will join him in just a minute. But again, thank you all for tuning in. Those of you who are at home, we are still sort of dependent, more or less, on your support. So any donations, contributions, tips, whatever you want to call it, paypal.me/TravisBook1 or Venmo @TravisBook. And Aaron, the floor is yours, man. Thanks so much for being here. This mood lighting is pretty cool, man. It's a little strange.
Well, we were getting intimate there, Travis. You know,
Oh,
party's over.
party's over. You look good in both light.
All right, hello, Gray Eagle and others out in digital land. I think I'll play, since we touched on the day job, I think I'll play a song called It's a Livin'. I've been doing mostly the day job for the last year. I'm very fortunate to have had it. Sure feels good to get back to the weekends and night job, though. It's been really nice these past couple weeks to have opportunities to play with my friends and play on stage in front of real humans. Good work, humans. All right, I'm going to play the song. It's called It's a Livin'. The alarm clock leads to the coffee pot, to the drive-thru, to the parking lot, to the glass doors of these hallowed halls, and I'm counting the minutes down. I do my part, bide my time, take care of all the work that's mine, you know. I've got plenty to do without picking up the slack for these other fools. There's a paycheck into the week. It seems a little smaller every time to me. I'm standing in the red, but I can see the black. It's close enough to keep me coming back. It's a living, burned so many hours in this building. After all this time, if I was gone 2 weeks, they'd forget I was ever here. It's good to have the bills paid, but it's a precious trade. Spending half of my time on something I don't like to pay for the half I do. But it's a living, yeah. It's a living, yeah. When I was a kid, well, my old man ran his own business with his own two hands. Every day he labored through, but I guess it was what he wanted to do. It looked like too much work to me. His weekends were just another day of the week, and I decided way back then that I'd only be working when I went in. And this office job, it ain't too hard. Easy on the back, but hard on the heart. I swear 8 hours at this desk can suck the brain right out of your head. It's a living, burned so many hours in this building. After all this time, if I was gone 2 weeks, they'd forget I was ever here. It's good to have the bills paid, but it's a precious trade. Spending half of my time on something I don't like to pay for the half I do. But it's a living, yeah. It's a living, yeah. Day in, day out, it's a matter of time. You dig up the doubts and you push them down. It ain't all bad, it ain't all good. I'm doing both better and worse than I ever thought I could. Ever thought I could. thought I could. It's 11, burned so many hours in this building. After all this time, if I was gone 2 weeks, they'd forget I was ever here. It's good to have the bills paid, but it's a precious trade. Spending half of my time on something I don't like to pay for the half I do. But it's a living. It's a living. And I'm counting those minutes down. It's a living. Funny thing to call it, but it's a living. Yes, I'm living now. I'm living now. Living now. Thank you.
That was awesome, man. Hey, fellas, you want to join us? We'll get the band back up here. We got Tommy Maher and Daniel Ullom on the mandolin. Yeah.
I like how you call me useful, Travis.
Did that make you feel good?
Yeah, that's good.
I feel like that's a pretty high compliment to give somebody.
Well, thank you. I'm feeling good about it.
Feeling good again? All right.
So we're going to play this is an old song of mine, and I was just thinking about this the other day. This thing, I wrote this song back in the late 1900s.
That's a good joke.
But it's true.
I know, I like it.
Yeah, this thing's been around a long time. And did I say it's called Going Home to Carolina? Did I already say that?
No.
I wrote this out when I was out in Steamboat Springs working at a place out there, and recorded it a couple different times actually. And still, we barely go through a show without playing it. It's a useful song.
That's kind.
We good? Yeah. Do we know what key this is in? There's a place that I left when I headed for the west, in search of my fortune and fame. You know, I never even noticed it, but now it's gone, and I long for the sweet Carolina day. I'm going home to Carolina. I'm going home. This time I hope to stay. Going home to Carolina. Those Blue Ridge Mountains, they drive my pain away. And my father, he grew up in those mountains. He farmed the soil his father did before. Mama said he drove that team on the very day he died, plowing perfect furrows in the soil. I'm going home, Carolina. I'm going home. This time I hope to stay. I'm going home, Carolina. Those Blue Ridge Mountains, they drive my pain. In the fall of '49, I laid claim to this mine just half a mile due east of Sutter's Mill. But the flats of California never can compare to my home in the Carolina hills. I'm going home to Carolina. I'm going home, this time I hope to stay. Going home in Carolina. Those Blue Ridge Mountains, they drive my pain away. Ain't you, Tommy? For my pain, there's a couple golden nuggets, there's a couple memories earned, and a nagging feeling I can't push away. And I'm going home to Carolina. I'm going home, this time I hope to stay. Going home to Carolina. Those Blue Ridge Mountains, they drive my pain away. Those Blue Ridge Mountains, they just drive my pain away. Thank you. That's Tommy Maher and Daniel Ullom. And that's Travis.
You're a natural, man.
I like your shirt.
Thanks.
That's good.
Thanks. It took me forever to pick it out.
Yeah.
My shirts just don't fit like they used to.
Yeah. Stretchy fabrics are key.
I might have to sell off half my wardrobe if I don't pull it together. It's a subtle thing. It's probably salt, right, Tommy? Too much salt in my diet?
A lot of salt. But damn, it tastes so good. It's so salty and good.
Yeah, it's salt candy, man.
Salt and corn together. Ooh.
So we're going to play one of the new songs that's coming out on that actually the new album it's going to be called Dream Rich, Dirt Poor, and this song is called Dirt Poor. I wrote this about my parents and their friends. I remember growing up in Saluda. Like I said, we were pretty far back in the woods, and everybody we knew was pretty far back in the woods in a different direction. It seemed like all the families we hung out with had kids our age, and they were all fixing up their old house in the woods. Mostly non-winterized old houses from the 20s, 40s, 50s. Mostly summer houses, as far as I could tell. And so I don't know, I remember a lot of that. I remember it was a different town back in the 70s and 80s than it is now, like I'm sure most towns around here are now. But so I wrote this song called Dirt Poor about my folks and their contemporaries back then. Yay, contemporaries. Let's think back to the lay of the land 40 years ago. Building a home, building a life, not knowing where it would go. There was rain in the roof and snakes on the stoop. And what are we doing here? Pulling treasure from another man's trash, praying that the weather would clear. But there ain't no promises here. We would dream rich, but we were dirt poor, hanging our hopes on a little more. Told each other every night it's gonna get better if we all live right. It's gonna get better if we all live right. Was the middle of nowhere, don't mean we don't care. There are friends all around. In those days you spent most days helping somebody it's all for. We're making love, not war. We would dream rich if we were dirt poor, hanging our hopes on a little more. Told each other every night it's gonna get better if we all live right. It's gonna get better if we all live right. If anyone really knew what would happen in their lifetime, no one would have the strength to try. If anyone could anticipate the heartbreak, there would never be an end to the tears we would cry. Well, the years rolled by and a bit at a time, almost everything has changed. Lines that seemed so certain then have faded into gray. There are parts I wouldn't do again, even if I had the chance. But there's something that I sorely miss about way back then, but it was simply us. We would dream rich, dirt poor, hanging our hopes on a little more. Told each other every night it's gonna get better if we all live right. It's gonna get better if we all. We would dream rich, we were dirt poor, hanging our hopes on a little more. Told each other every night it's gonna get better if we all live right. It's gonna get better if we all live right.
I'm doing great, man. How's everybody out there doing? Yeah, I'm just psyched, man. Episode 20.
Is that what we're on? Episode 20?
Episode 20.
I feel good about that.
I mean,
S1E20?
yeah. S2.
Oh, that's 2.
E11, technically speaking. It's all pretty arbitrary, you know? All of it, which is why I'm so sort of fascinated by the fact that here we still are, a year later, 20 episodes later. We're still doing it.
You're doing a good job, Travis.
Well, thank you. I like doing it, and I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm glad you're here, man. Let's play another one.
Okay. I'm a graveyard man working dusk to dawn. Spent 13 years behind a sanding drum. 6 a.m. when my shift is done, I'm out the side door squinting to the rising sun. Cross the gravel to the pickup truck. The door won't latch unless you hold it up. Gotta let it run before you drive it. But it's one thing I can always rely on. One day the fruits of my labor. One day the fruits of my labor. One day the fruits of gonna shine on through. Gonna shine on. I drive home to take the kids to school and help their mama with all she's gotta do. I don't know how she keeps us all together. She's an angel with an attitude. I drop a gear as I pass the field. Always takes me back to when I used to play here. I stop at the store on the edge of town, 'cause I like a drink before I lay down. Yeah, one day the fruits of my labor, one day the fruits of my labor, one day the fruits of my labor gonna shine on through. Gonna shine on. 13 years with the company, still they might ship my job overseas. The rumors fly around and the brass don't deny it. I guess they need the word worse than China. I try not to chase the questions down. I try not to wrap my mind too tight around where it all starts and where it ends. Just sleep, wake, and do it again. Yeah, one day the fruits of my labor, one day the fruits of my labor, one day the fruits of my labor gonna shine on through. Gonna shine on through. Gonna shine on through. Gonna shine on. Preacher said pray without ceasing. Daddy said settle down, son, there's no point in leaving. Wife says don't forget how your family needs you. And for some reason I keep on believing. One day the fruits of my labor, one day the fruits of my labor, one day the fruits of my labor gonna shine on through. Gonna shine on through. Gonna shine on through. Gonna shine on. One day the fruits of my labor, one day the fruits of my, one day the fruits of my labor gonna shine on through. Shine on through. gonna shine on. Gonna shine on through. Hey, thank you.
We're just going to take a short break, and we'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Once we know everything is chill, y'all can get up, move about the office, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Travis Book Happy Hour is supported by Thompson Guitars, makers of fine instruments handmade with love in Sisters, Oregon. The crew at Thompson carries on Preston's legacy with handcrafted guitars enjoyed by some of the finest players on the scene. More at pktguitars.com. The Happy Hour is proud to work with Canned Aid, a nationally recognized nonprofit that rallies volunteers from all walks of life to build thriving communities. Through their unique integrated approach, they distribute water, provide opportunities for underserved youth to experience music, arts, and the outdoors, and protect and restore the environment. You can view this and every Happy Hour episode anytime at the TravisBookHappyHour.com. And the Happy Hour returns on July 14th with no other than Vince Herman. And now, back to the show.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you, everyone, for your patience. So grateful to be here this week, and so grateful that Aaron is here to join me. Please make him welcome again, once again, to the set, Mr. Aaron Burdett. Yeah.
Hi.
Hey. Hey, Aaron. I just got to find my questions now. All of a sudden, I've become highly disorganized. Fill space. Do something clever.
Yeah, do something useful. Everybody doing okay? Y'all okay out there? I can't quite see you. I see shapes. Shapes of humans.
I see shapes. Yeah, it's nice to see human shapes. Humanoid shapes. So let's talk about some more stuff for a few minutes before we play the rest of our music.
Okay.
We have 79 Fords in common.
Matter of fact, we do.
We do. I have an F-250, and you have a Super Cab, 4-wheel drive. Is that right?
That's true.
What is it about old trucks?
I didn't know we were going here.
We don't have to stay here long.
I like them.
It's just rare that I meet somebody who's got a 79. You know, and I have a little thing for them.
I wouldn't have a 78. Actually, I might have a 70. I would not have an 80. I just love those things. I don't know. I just love the shape of them when I was a kid. And there was a guy when I lived in Boone that had a blue Super Cab 4-wheel drive with a flatbed, and I just loved that thing. When I worked up at the ski mountain, I thought I'll never have a truck like that. And now I have a similar truck to that.
Partway there.
Partway there.
Are you a nostalgic person in general?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's what that Dirt Poor song, that's what, when I look back at my notes, that's what it's all about, that nostalgia, because like where does nostalgia start? Is it 5 years ago? Is it 3 years ago? Is it 10 years ago? What stage of photographs tugs at your heartstrings like things were better then? And that's sort of what that Dirt Poor thing is about. Like, I'm not really sure anything was better then. We just think it was because it's got a little glaze on it. I'm not sure anything was better then than it is now. This will have glaze on it in 10 years. You and I might be thinking, oh, look at those pictures from when we were at the thing.
Yeah. You remember the 20s?
Yeah, I remember the 20s.
You remember the 20s, man? Woo.
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, man, I barely remember the 20s. Yeah, I'm not a particularly nostalgic person, but I do know that there is there's certain places and certain things, certain smells. And getting inside of like an 80s era Toyota will do the same thing, because the way that plastic decomposes is real distinct. Absolutely serious. And it is funny though. And it's the same thing with the 79 Ford. You know, I had an 84 when I was a kid, and you get in there and it feels vaguely sort of the similar, and there's that bench seat. And yeah.
And the way that the doors shut. I mean, that little line out of the Fruits of My Labor, that's my favorite line out of the whole thing. The door won't latch unless you hold it up. Because who hasn't had that?
Yeah, and you got to let it run for a little bit after you start it.
You got to let it run before you drive it.
Yeah, I mean, not too long.
No.
We may have already touched on this, but what motivates you? Why, as a friend of mine puts it, why do you get up in the morning?
Well, people are expecting me to, is part of it. You know, I have this. I'm learning more about myself as I age a little bit, and
Fun, isn't it?
My people, including my wife, will make fun of me because I've noticed I have this tendency to try to make things a little better than they were. Like, I will customize a thing. If it's not quite how I want it, I will customize it and make it so it's more like I want it.
Make it better.
Make it better. Make things better. I swear, I think that has something to do with, I think that's sort of what some of, you know, and she'll say, it's supposed to be your day off. Why aren't you relaxing? And to her, relaxing is sitting still. And to me, relaxing is doing things that I want to be doing that nobody else wants me to be doing. Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't mean like nobody wants me to be doing it. I just mean things that I get satisfaction out of completing and saying, oh, that thing that I've been looking at, it's done, it's straightened up, it's fixed, it's whatever. And that is enjoyable and relaxing to me. Sitting still is not often what recharges me.
You're not a beach person.
No.
That's okay.
Not much. I like to do things at the beach. I mean, a little bit, you know, I recognize that I could use to, like the only function television has in my life is when I really want to just shut down. And it happens maybe twice a year.
Nice.
I'm not kidding. I just don't have time for it. I would rather be doing something that I consider to be productive for myself, but I don't know.
So you'd say like maybe if I asked you like what's the point of all this existence, you'd maybe say make things a little better.
Yeah.
Make things a little better. Like make the audience's night a little better, or make yourself a little happier, or make your house a little better.
Yeah, and follow.
Make your wife a little happier.
Yeah, that too. I mean, really, follow the thing that's right in front of you. It's like the songs. It's like life. It's like I don't know, meeting you, being here, doing this. What am I going to do on the way home? It's like, yeah, sometimes I have to steer, but often I have to not steer. And you just say, oh, well, what's the thing that's right in front of me? What's coming my way? How do I go with the flow and not fight it? When do I know when I need to fight this and go? You know, it's a lot of gray area, but I think life presents itself in just about the sequence it's supposed to. If you just pay attention to what's in front of you and what I need to be working on or not working on, or that whole thing of when the student's ready, the teacher appears. And I love I have this thing that pops up. I collect little sayings that help me, and I have this thing that'll pop them up on my phone at random intervals. And one of them that comes up a lot is Byron Katie said, the teacher I need is always the one right in front of me. And that helps me get back to, what is right now, the thing in front of me is to just speak honestly to Travis and play some songs as best I can. There will be something else in front of me tomorrow morning.
Would you say that you don't experience a lot of anxiety?
I would not say that.
Because what I'm this is fun for me because what I'm hearing is an attitude that demands a lot of faith. Because what you're saying is you pretty much assume the universe or God or whatever it is, it's all kind of gonna you're assuming it's gonna come into form the way it's supposed to, and I'd hope you're also sort of assuming in your favor. That's also kind of part of it. Is you kind of got to be like, you got to have like blind optimism, like this will work out okay.
Well, and it depends on the day, man. I mean, I have some really bad days, and I mean, this is the place where my spiritual life resides, is in this stuff. So it's real easy for me to wax poetic about this. But on a day when things on a construction site are inside out and upside down, and there's people mad there all over the place, it's a little hard to be like, ooh, who's my teacher here?
Yeah, totally.
It just depends on the day. But I think, another one that comes up often is trust the process of life. I mean, it's going to take you where I think it's going to, so far, it has taken me to the place I need to be. Anything could happen, but it'll all be all right in the end. And if it's not all right, it's not the end.
It's not the end. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. What yeah. Yeah, it feels good when you put it that way. Just a few more questions, and these can be short or long. Doesn't matter.
Let's go with the flow.
We're entering into that part of the interview. What to you is the most important thing?
What to me is the most important thing? Whew.
You can think about it a little bit. I didn't actually give you any of these questions before the interview, so you can take a little time.
It's hard for me to single out any one thing that's the most. I mean, I'm not trying to dodge. It's almost like that thing I just said. Like, the most important thing is doing the thing I think is right, and I may learn more about it later. As I've grown a little older, the importance of family is greater than it was when I was 20. Both those above and below in age. I don't know. For me, it's very important. It's very important to feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. My own sort of sense of personal integrity. If I'm living and acting in the way that I want to. I mean, you have to adjust that all the time.
Totally, it's highly fluid.
Right. I mean, I've been doing things last year that I may, we're in an adjustment zone again, both of us. Like what it's like, okay, things are changing again, and there were some terrible things last year, but there were some really positive things about a complete change in lifestyle. So how much, it's another transition time, and it's a gray area, and it's just not black and white, and you have to navigate it. So
yeah, I'm
not sure that answered your question, but
it didn't.
Okay, good.
You nailed it.
Next.
You avoided it perfectly.
Okay, good.
Tell me something you learned from your father. Just one thing. I know it's probably a ton of stuff, considering you still work with him.
I still get to work with my dad a good bit. He's an incredibly patient human. He's very methodical, and I think the older I get, the more of that I have. And he's also there's a sort of Zen simplicity of thought with him. Not that he's simple. He's not gonna dig so deep that it gets confusing. He's just gonna. It's that next right thing, It's what's to me. There's a very Zen quality to the way he goes through, and takes an incredible and infuriating amount of time to do a simple task just to make it just right, and I can't do that. I wish you could see the if you popped the toolbox on the back of his truck, I wish you could see the way the tools are in there. Polished, cleaned, all in the perfect spot.
Everything in its right place.
Yeah. And I'm about 40% of the way there. Usually the thing is over there, but it's kind of jammed in there because I was in a hurry. And I think that's really cool. I'm sort of like that with my gear, you know.
Yeah.
But tools are his gear, so I think I learned some of that, to respect that sort of thing.
What is it that you hope for?
What do I hope for?
Don't worry, this will be over soon.
I hope this will be over soon.
I hope you stop asking. Do you want me to give you some softballs? You want me to ask you what kind of pick you use on your guitar?
I could talk for 20 minutes about that. What do I hope for? Man, I just hope things just keep improving and going well. I mean, I don't know. It's just so day to day. You know, I hope, what do I hope for today? What do I hope for next week? What do I hope for my life? Hell, I don't know. That's a bigger question. I mean, this year, I don't know. I hope we get some things fixed on the house. I hope I get to spend some time with my family. I hope to get to work a little less and play a little more and get that balance adjusted a little better.
I hope you do too. I hope you can too. That balance is hard.
It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something like I hear a lot of musicians talk about balance. None of them know anything about it.
Yeah.
None of us know anything about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's really hard to know.
Well,
And you have
know
to
when
plan
you-
so far in advance too.
You just know when you're out. You know what I
Yes,
mean? It's
right.
like one of those things where until you step over the line, you don't really know exactly where it is. But you know, oh, that was over the line. I need to come back. I mean, balance is about readjusting, right? You don't just get it.
No.
You don't just get it and stay there. I mean, balance by definition is something that means you wobble back and forth, and it's just a constant adjustment. So try that.
Yeah, so try that. 2 more questions.
Okay. What kind of pick?
No,
Okay.
I don't give a shit about your pick. Don't take it personally.
It's a really nice one.
How is it? All right, I'll bite. Is it tortoiseshell?
No.
Is it blue chip?
Yeah, it's a blue chip.
Those are nice.
I got converted last year. Okay, go ahead.
How old would you be if you didn't know how old you were?
How old would I be? How old would I be if I need some...
I'm glad to hear that because this is one of my favorite questions,
would I
and I
be?
forgot to ask it for the first 19 episodes, but I just remembered for this one.
So I get it? What?
Yeah, like you know, like if the phenomenon is like if you woke up tomorrow and you're like, how old am I? You don't remember. You'd be like, maybe.
I think I'm in my 30s, which I'm not. I think I'm in my 30s, I think.
Yeah. Early 30s?
Probably mid 30s. I don't think I started hitting my stride until I was in my mid 30s.
I think it's honestly, I think it's a relevant question because age is an actual thing and an actual number, but we all know that everybody ages at different rates, and so I find that to be a fascinating question. Final question, then we'll get back to some more music. What is it that makes you happy?
Well, all those things I just said.
You're like, stop asking me the same damn question over and over again.
It's all those things where I feel I don't know. This gets really it gets really esoteric. It's all those things where I connect with whatever that source is, whatever that spirit is. Sometimes it's sitting here talking to you. Sometimes it's playing a song. Sometimes it's mowing the grass. Sometimes it's talking to my daughter. Sometimes it's sitting with my wife. Sometimes it's going out with my wife to do something we don't usually do, or I don't know, just living life unencumbered makes me happy, and I don't do it all that often. I mean, honest to God, I wish I was as carefree and balanced as I sound up here on stage, because I'm not. But I think it's similar to that thing where you catch a song. I was taught at a point that everything is sacred or nothing is. And like, I can be right here and just turn a speck sideways, and that energy is right there. If I just say, oh, I'm open to this thing. Well, I don't know what it is.
Right. It's always right. It's right there.
It's just an adjustment in in perspective. And I find that in all those places, with my family, in nature, looking at a rusty old truck for a minute, just all those things that are part of a person's life, and trying to recognize that that is what it is, that life is that thing we're looking for. I don't know.
That's awesome, man. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Aaron Burdett, everybody. Thanks, man. Thanks so much. Let's play some more music. How about Tommy and Daniel get up here?
Okay.
And let's play a little bit more music.
Oh, yeah. We set this up pretty good, actually.
That's the hope. Let me go find my second half of my set list. I'll be right back.
I'm starting to think he's thought about this more than he's letting on. Oh, man.
That was awesome, Aaron. I learned a lot about you, man. You're cool.
You want to hang out, man? Hey, man. Yeah. Hey, man. You
Hey,
want to
let's hang out and play some songs or something, Tommy.
You guys want to be in a band for the next 20 minutes?
You don't get asked questions like that on a construction site.
Well, it's a shame.
I'm going to start, though.
Listen, man. I've been watching you work all day, and I just got to know, do you even know why you get up in the morning? What is it you're trying to do here today?
Look, I know that's
think it would work great.
1,000 blocks you've moved today, but, you know, when do you really feel connected?
Did you ever recognize God in any of those blocks? You know, he was only a breath away.
Hey, George, what do you hope for, man?
He's like, I hope to get off the clock and get a cold beer, man. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I think you should try it.
Yeah, you have to answer 2 questions to get a check. All right, so we're going to play a song called 3 or 4 Minutes, and this is sort of a meta song, I think. I mean, the other thing, you're asking me what did I learn from my father. I learned that music is important. I learned that music is like it's a powerful force, you know? And I had there are some touch points in my life musically that got me to here, and one of them was I used to go to a place called McDibb's in Black Mountain and see David Wilcox when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. And I was just starting to play guitar, and I still don't know what that guy's doing. But he had this, he just held everybody in the palm of his hand telling these stories, and they would just go on and on and on, and he plays these open tunings with huge big low notes and these sweeping melodies while he's telling these stories, and I just remember it was just captivating. And I've seen many people do that since then, but you know how much music hits us when you're an adolescent, that music you heard then, and everything. I think you feel everything more when you're an adolescent. That's just the way we're wired. And that's part of what I'm talking about in this song. So, what do you hope for?
That's for another show.
Take me away from my troubles. Hide me from the world outside. Take me away from everything that worries me for 3 or 4 minutes at a time. 3 or 4 minutes is just enough time to rise up and leave it all behind. It's a gift that you give me that heals me tonight. Those 3 or 4 minutes when everything seems right. Everything seems right. There's no way I could ever forget it. The way you stood there under the lights. I hung on every word you were saying, 'cause you were telling me about my life. 3 or 4 minutes is just enough time to rise up and leave it all behind. It's a gift that you give me that heals me tonight. Those 3 or 4 minutes when everything seems right. Everything seems right. We're all learning as we go along. We're all singing as we learn the song. We're all learning as we go along. We're all singing as we learn the song. Yeah. That's Daniel, y'all. The deepest truths I've ever heard, they tumbled out of the lines of a song. No book or teacher or lover ever touched me as deeply as a tune that was 3 minutes long. Yeah. 'Cause 3 or 4 minutes is just enough time to rise up and leave it all behind. It's a gift that you give me that heals me tonight. Those 3 or 4 minutes when everything seems right. Everything seems right. Everything seems right. Everything seems right. Tommy and Daniel, that's awesome, guys. You make that right pretty. I've enjoyed playing with you too, Travis.
Oh, thanks. That's nice of you to give me that afterthought. I'll always take that.
Your solo was so understated.
That's how I do it, man. So understated you didn't even know it was happening. String Dusters, on Friday, we got a new record coming out. It's our tribute to Bill Monroe, the father of bluegrass. And so I figured for fun, I would try to render you a Bill Monroe song here. Render. This may or may not be the first. Well, I think we played it last night. Yep. And I'm sure I'll play it again. This is a song called Dark as the Night by the father of bluegrass, Mr. Bill Monroe. Dark as the night, blue as the day, lonesome, my darling, since you went away. Sometimes I wonder, why'd you betray? I'm dark as the night, I'm blue as the day, blue as the sky, there's blues in my heart. It's dark outside since we've been apart. So tell me, please tell me, what made you stray? Dark as the night, I'm blue as the day. Tell me, please tell me, what made you stray? Dark as the night, I'm blue as the day.
Travis Book.
Yeah. Bill Monroe.
Good work, Travis.
Thank you.
I couldn't be happier with the way that went. We're gonna play a couple more songs here, right?
Yeah, let's play a couple more.
Okay.
We went to all this trouble.
We did, and we just formed a band.
We did. Should we name it? Let's see if we can come up with something.
Useful. The Usefuls. We're gonna play another one of my songs. This is called "Pennies on the Tracks," and it's about the sort of about the train in my hometown, and sort of a little sideways story from that about the convict labor that built the tracks that went up the mountain from the flatlands up to Saluda, sort of it's the last thing at the top of the in the foothills, I guess they call it. And the grade that goes down from there, down 26, down to Tryon and Columbus and all that, is very similar to the grade that goes from Black Mountain down to Old Fort over here. And they both had the tracks brought up at a similar era in the late 1800s, as opposed to the late 1900s, which we lived through. So, and I don't know, there's a lot of train history there in the town, and I don't know, I'm not like a train guy. I'm not really that into it. But then when you start looking at the pictures of the guys that built those tracks, they were convicts. They were black convicts. And they forced them to work out there, and they died. A bunch of them died building that, and they just would go out with however many and come back with however many, and that was fine. And so thinking about that, and thinking about what does progress mean? It's usually at the making progress in one direction is usually to the detriment of another direction. There's flip sides to all those things, and I don't want to get too far down that rabbit hole. But that's how I got into this song called Pennies on the Tracks. Talking a little bit about that. The other part of it is there's all this lore about the first trains that went down and wrecked, because the tracks were built before the trains were good enough to do tracks that steep. And so, we know all those guys. We know all the engineers on those. We know, but we don't know any of the names of the guys that died building the tracks. It's called Pennies on the Tracks. August 2019 and 5, mist burning off. The sun's rising high and the steam from the engine mixes with the fog until one's just like the next, cut by the whistle call. Mind your job, boys, and take your work to heart. One wrong move and we'll all be torn apart. There's no room for error, short death for mistakes. If pride in your work won't guide you, let the fear of God today. Pennies on the track, boys, pennies on the tracks. Lay 'em down today, 'cause I might not be back if I lose control. Running down the grade in the Carolina Special takes another life today. Carolina Special takes another life today. In 90 days they took the line up the grade. 100 men, convicts, little more than slaves, all gave their days and many gave their lives. They cut a flat above the river for this luxury line. They crushed the rock and they cut the earth away, and they crushed those men as the progress was made. Every white man lost since is written down, but not those scores of men of the kind we didn't count. Pennies on the track, boys, pennies on the tracks. Lay 'em down today, 'cause I might not be back if I lose control. Running down the grade in the Carolina Special takes another life today. Carolina Special takes another life today. 200 tons rolling down the line, cold steel cradle for 100 lives. Screaming down the mountain, chaos controlled. All aboard praying that the brakeman keeps hold. We're flying by the graves of those who came before us, the men who shaped this ground and were buried in the forest. They call to me as we pass by. Some men live and some men die. Some men live and some men die. And the Carolina Special is the finest line of the finest steel and the finest design. And I think we're gonna make it through safe today and keep those spirits calls at bay. I think we're gonna make it through safe today. I think we're gonna make it through today. Your family needs you more than they need you on that railroad. I said, settle down, don't you worry. And I lied and said nothing could happen to me. A man wants to be part of something greater than he is, to leave a mark, to show that he lived. And he might dance with danger, and he might dance with death. And I might today, before I'm home to rest. Pennies on the track, boys, pennies on the tracks. Lay 'em down today, 'cause I might not be back if I lose control, running down the grade. And the Carolina Special takes another life today. The Carolina Special takes another life today. Another life today. Another life today. Another life today. I like those harmonies, Travis. That's beautiful.
Thanks. I figured if we were going to be a band, I should sing along. Just trying to be useful over here.
You're doing good, doing good, doing good.
Thanks, man. I think we'll play one more.
Are we going to play that one we liked?
Let's play that one we liked. That one that everybody knows. Play something that they know so they can tell if you're good or not.
That's what Travis says.
That's a joke, by the way. That's a joke. It's a joke. Kind of an inside joke, but it's a joke.
There's a guy that used to come to shows I would play down near Hendersonville, and you'd get done, and he was like a fan of the music. You'd get done, and he'd say, play something good. Like after every song. Come on, dude. Help me out, brother. Why don't you play something good? Just play it?
I think so, unless you want to talk about
No, I don't want to talk about it. I think you'll get the gist. I think this is going to be clear as a bell. There's no hidden meanings here. It's just pretty straightforward. Thank you guys so much for being here. This has been really nice. I mean, no kidding. It feels really good to be up here on stage again and playing with friends and playing in front of friends. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Travis, for setting it up.
Pleasure. Thanks for being here.
Good band. Good band. Good work on that.
Thanks, man. That's what I do.
Standing on Main Street across from Mr. Blues in my faded leather jacket, in my worn out broken shoes. A chill north wind was blowing, but the spring was coming on. As I wondered to myself just how long that I've been gone. So I strolled across old Main Street, down a flight of stairs, stepped into the hall and saw my friends were there. A neon sign was flashing, welcome, come on in. Feels so good, feeling good again. My favorite band was playing an Otis Redding song, and when they played the chorus, everybody sang along. Dan and Margarita swaying side by side. I'd heard they were divorcing, but I guess they let it slide. And I wished I had some money with which to buy a round. I wish I'd cash my paycheck before I'd come to town. But I reached into my pockets, found 3 20s and a 10. Feels so good, feeling good again. so good, feeling good again. Yeah. There was old man Perkins sitting on his stool, watching Butch and Jimmy John talking loud and playing pool. The boys from Silver City were standing by the fire, singing like they thought they were the Tabernacle Choir. And I wished you could see it all, I wished you were there. And I looked across the room and saw you standing on the stair. And when I caught your eye, I saw you break into a grin. Feels so good, feeling good again. I feel so good and feeling good again. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I wanted you to see it all. I wish that you were there. I looked and saw you standing on the stair. When I caught your eye, I saw you break into a grin. Feels so good, feeling good again. Feels so good, feeling good again. Feels so good, feeling good again.
That's Aaron Burdett. We're going to take a super short break and be back with one last song. Thanks again for sticking around. Thanks for tuning into the Travis Book Happy Hour.
T-shirt sporting the Happy Hour motto, "It's okay to be happy." Available now at the TravisBookHappyHour.com. The Travis Book Happy Hour is written and produced by Useful Travis Book. Sound engineer is Andy Eubanks. Video produced by John Zara and Josh Blake at I Am AVL. The voice you're hearing belongs to Bill Cavillas. The Happy Hour is made possible through the generous support of viewers and listeners like you. You can contribute any amount, anytime at paypal.me/TravisBook1 or Venmo Travis Book. The Happy Hour returns in July with guests Vince Herman, Christina Vane, and Andy Falco.
Maybe.
We hope so. And now back to the show.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, Falco's booked, but he's canceled twice before. And that'd be okay if he canceled again. You can cancel on me anytime. I don't mind. I don't. There's always Tommy Maher. He's always down to pick.
I'm available. And also, I'm available for music.
Ooh, ooh. Zinger! Let's. I asked Aaron if he'd play this tune last. This is a song you recorded not too long ago, and I just love the chorus. I feel like since we're on the happy hour and I'm obsessed with the concept of happiness, that this would be the song to finish with. I hope that's all right by you, man.
Yeah, and actually I'll tell you, because I thought about this after we talked about this last night. This is a song called Arlo, and it's about it's a collection of things that this songwriter named Arlo that I met 15 years ago down in Atlanta. Haven't seen him since then, but we talk a couple times a week probably, or exchange some messages of some sort. And I don't know, I found myself writing down things he said after we got off the phone, and building this character that is somewhat related to him, but also isn't quite him. And he would say these things to me that I'd write down, like for instance, what was the one you just said? Happiness. I was talking about reading stories to my little girl, and he was talking about how his kids have grown up. He's in his probably early 60s, and he said, I wish I could do that all again without the stress, though, just the happiness. And talked about reading Lowly Worm to his daughter. And so I wrote that down, just not the stress, just the happiness. That's a good line. And then the other one about the chorus. It's what is it? Load me up heavy, I can take the pain. And we were talking about amplifiers. We were talking about which amplifier to get. And he was like, oh yeah, get the big one. Load me up heavy, I can take the pain. So that's the kind of wisdom I get from Arlo that has been assembled into this song. Hope you enjoy it. I drained the last drops of high life out under a white oak in the rain. I want to start that over.
Do it.
I don't feel real good about that.
Do it, man.
Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off.
You can always start over.
Yeah. It's better than keeping going feeling wrong about it.
There's some kind of lesson in there.
I felt really good when I heard the Steep Canyon Rangers start a song in 3 different keys live on NCW a couple years ago. I was like, okay, cool, that's cool. They just totally borked it and stopped. And I was like, all right, okay, that's cool.
The Dusters did that on the Opry, first time on the Opry. It was nice. We were in G, banjo player was in A. Wasn't even close. Sounded just like you'd think.
You get what you pay for. That's a joke from last week's show. It's not anything against Panda. It's just an inside thing. It was a reference. I was referencing back. All right.
That was.
All right, now that we're all recalibrated, here's a song called Arlo. I drained the last drops of high life under a white oak in the rain. I'll stay dry for a while anyway. I'll be a grandpa come November. I did okay at the wedding. If I say the right words at the right time, I can come off as a pretty good guy. One more stop along the way. Load me up heavy, I can take the pain. I wish I could go back and do it again without the stress, just the happiness. I'm 63 years old now, still living hand to mouth, work at the aluminum plant, till Uncle Sam starts paying out 130 by the furnace. 92 outside comes in raw on the left of the building, goes out aircraft grade on the right. One more stop along the way. Load me up heavy, I can take the pain. Wish I could go back and do it again without the stress, just the happiness. In time, intention slips away. I never thought I'd see the day when all my children had grown and moved too far away. I'll keep molding metal as long as they can pay, just like they've molded me into what I am today. 16th, I hugged her as I was leaving. I didn't know she was gone till I got the message at home. I had to work that night at the mill. Didn't tell anyone there. Shatterproof goggles on my eyes. At break time, I'm in the bathroom to cry. One more stop along the way. Load me up heavy, I can take the pain. I wish I could go back and do it again without the stress, just the happiness. Without the stress, just the happiness. Without the stress, just the happiness. Just the happiness. Just the happiness. Just the happiness.
Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Episode 20 of the Happy Hour. That's Aaron Burdett with Daniel Ullom and Tommy Maher. I'm Travis Book. We'll see you back here in a couple of months. Thanks again.